There's a smart new website that will change the way you invest using social media.
LikeFolio.
Here to explain,
A team of brothers, Andy and Landon Swan.
of LikeFolio.
And they've always been building out great technology at the intersection of social and trading.
Powered by unique social data. Analyzed by legendary traders. The LikeFolio broadcast starts right now.
6 weeks ago, on this very podcast, we talked about Tesla in a very bullish way, and suggested Landon was buying the stock. Is about 152. I've never seen a run up quite that fast. That was a total V bottom deal. We had that bullish divergence where Tesla consumer data on LikeFolio was ripping higher as the stock hit lows on a big pullback back to 152, and then we put out the podcast and boom, we're at 238 today.
Nailed it.
Yeah, we sure were bullish, but we weren't 55% in a month bullish.
No, you never are. You never are.
I know, isn't that amazing? Landon banked off that.
Landon banked big
more than
on
any
that.
of us, so
Yeah.
congrats, Landon.
Finally, I got one. I did better on one than you guys did. Happy about that.
Yeah, because you just took the stock.
I just bought. Yeah.
Good thing you just kept ignoring me. That seems to be the way to go.
Well, anyway you
One
go.
out of 10 times that works.
Anyway you go, if you listen to that, you were going to make money.
Right.
True that.
So now the stock's at 238, and we got a little bit of a different story to tell. I was kind of sad coming in here because I knew what the story was going to be. I'm such a big Tesla fan, but here we are about a week before their release of the Model 3. And we said, we revisit this before that event. So let's take a look at what's going on in the social data, what consumers are saying about Tesla.
Sure. So, yeah, as you mentioned, we did have a run up. That's why we went long in the consumer data, talking about brand mentions and purchase intent. Since then, since I guess over the last few weeks, it has really fallen off. And in fact, it's at the lowest point since 2014. So
that's not what you want to see leading into a big release.
It's really not. Now, who knows, what the Model 3 is going to have. Things can go crazy from there. But just as far as people talking about it and talking about buying it, just any of their products, it's at a 1-year low, and it's going down. So this is where not only would, if I was holding the stock long, which I am, not only am I going to sell, I'm actually going to probably go short here. So everything is looking pretty bearish. The sentiment is still extremely high. I don't know if that's ever going to change. Everybody loves this company, but just as far as people talking about the company and people talking about buying the products, it's at a very low point for the company.
So not only taking the bullish tag off of Tesla, but
I'm not just going to take
actually
profits.
Reversing.
Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm going to go short here. It's kind of risky going into that announcement, but me personally, I've got some profits to play with. I kind of feel like I'm playing with house money here, and just looking at the data, it's coming down quite a bit from where it was before. So,
well, we have the data, the LikeFolio data has been so good to us on Tesla over the past 3 years. That's one of the reasons we were so excited to do that bullish episode about 6 weeks ago. You kind of got to listen now. But Nick, if I were, the stock's at 238.
Correct.
If I wanted to listen to this, but I wasn't comfortable shorting Tesla because there's a big announcement coming out, and quite frankly, it's just a company I don't like to. I don't want to be exposed to that much upside in a negative way for myself. So if I wanted to take a more conservative approach than just shorting the stock, what do you see any options out there that I could play with?
Yeah. So just to mention that shorting a stock that's $240, let's call it, is a very capital intensive situation. You're going to be utilizing a lot of capital when you're shorting a $240 stock. So there are other better ways to play it, utilizing options. First of all, I just want to say that the company was $19 billion when we talked about it last. Now it's approximately $31 billion market cap.
that's crazy.
So we loved it at 19 billion market cap. 31 billion, I feel like it's an easy sell because we'd mentioned on that previous conversation that it was 40 billion for, some of the big dogs like GM. And we are talking about it being 9 billion away from GM market cap. I don't think it's quite there.
And it's the purchase intent data is around half of what it was now when the market cap is at 30, what'd you say, 32 billion?
31, yeah.
31 billion versus when the market cap was 19. So the stock has gone up while the purchase intent and brand mentions have gone down. And that's the divergence that we're always talking about. And that just kind of screams at me as a holding long. It's screaming, you got to get out. And it's also hinting that you should be taking a bearish position.
Sure. So I like the idea of a play in May using the May options. They've got around 57 days until expiration. And so let's call it 60 days till expiration, 2 months. You can sell the 250, 255 bear call spread at $1.75 credit. So essentially you are risking 325 to make 175. And your thesis is that the stock is going to be, at or below $252, in approximately 2 months from now. So if the stock stays where it is, you make money. If it goes a little higher, you make money. If it really tanks, you quickly make money and just take the trade off. The only way it's really going to hurt you is if the stock, rallies 255 and higher.
Okay. Then let's look at, I like that. What if, let's say I wanted to be a little more aggressive than that. And I've got, let's say, hypothetically speaking, maybe I've got $5,000 or $6,000 in profits off of this last Tesla move that I'm willing to put into, and I'm just ready to buy a put option.
Okay.
Let's just look at just what's a straight buying a put option. Where could I get, where could I put 5 to 6 grand of profit to work?
Well, if you want to put 5 to 6 grand profit to work in a put option, you could buy a few shares of a close to the money put or several shares of a further out of the money put. For example, let's say you had 6 grand. You could buy 10 of the 190 puts I'm in May because I like having a little bit of duration for this data to play out.
Yep.
We've talked about in the past. We like to have a little more duration to let this data kind of pan out in the price of the underlying. So we're looking at the 60 days May options with 60 days left. 10 shares of the 190s, which are trading for about $6. Or you could do, let's just say, a closer to the money, 4 shares of the 235 puts that are pretty much right at the money.
For contracts, right?
4 contracts. Sorry.
Oh man, I just looked at my, I was going to short. You're right. The capital required is bonkers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to short. Geez, I like these puts that you're talking about. So the 235s, I can get 4 of them with $6,000.
Plus you're going to pay interest on your short shares too. So you've got all that going for you.
Okay.
So those are the 235s are what, $15?
235s are $20. Somewhere they're kind of moving in between 18 and 20.
Yeah, I don't really like the vertical because I want a lot of upside. I want to be able to make a lot of money. And I do think it's going lower. I don't think that what you talked about with the at the money vertical is appealing to me. I kind of like the puts just to go for it. I think the 190 is a bit aggressive.
Yeah, it's very aggressive.
235 is kind of more where I was thinking. So I'm going to look at those.
Yeah, I think so that's 2 cool options for us though. We can sell that call spread above the market and profit even if we're a little bit wrong.
That's right.
Or we can get aggressive with money that we've banked and buy some puts and see what happens over the next 2 weeks. Because with an announcement coming up, you've got a little bit of a binary event, which I normally like to see if I'm going to just buy if I'm just going to buy puts or calls straight up. It's because generally speaking, I like to know that there's some catalyst that could move the stock big. Personally speaking.
Yeah, and this news, people are anticipating this, and I think that it plays a huge role into the rally that we've seen, this 55% rally that we've seen in the past month. And especially the past few days, we've strung together, some small upside percentage moves, 7 days in a row. Today it's slightly lower, but no big deal. I think it's definitely gearing up for a sell the news price movement.
I like that. Plus, they've got earnings in early May. So the May contracts are going to have not only this announcement, but also an earnings event. So you're going to have a lot of information between now and expiration for these contracts that you're talking about.
Yeah, I tend to exit prior to earnings events on these duration-based plays. So I probably personally wouldn't be participating in that earnings event, but I would certainly be holding through the Tesla Model 3 unveil.
Yeah, where there's so much hype and already kind of built in.
Where they really just absolutely have to come out nailing everything.
Every detail.
For it to not sell off.
So what's it trading at right now?
238.
And the 235s are how much are they?
They were
in May.
Right around
18 to $20. Yeah, 18 bucks.
So you can do 3 or 4 contracts somewhere in that range.
And
I like
anything
that.
under anything under 215, 220 is going to be profitable for you. Rebecca Shepard from Benzinga, who LikeFolio, we're big fans of Benzinga. I think they do a good job of sorting through what matters and what doesn't in terms of stocks. She put out a great note March 22nd. Is that today?
Yes.
So she put out a great note today talking about this research group. Devonshire put out a note on Tesla. And she kind of breaks it down in a really cool way. Saying that Tesla has kind of 3 things that say may be overvalued, not to just kind of beat a dead horse here, but their attempt at vertical integration exceeds any other auto company, that their revenue multiple exceeds any related tech company. And the only comparables they have in terms of multiples are business models that Tesla is not, including software companies, social media companies, or biotech companies. And then it has this chart, which is crazy, showing that in the automotive industry, usually you're at a price to sales ratio of under 1, but Tesla is at about 7 right now, because there's so much thinking of what the future could hold for it. But the only 2 sectors that are above where Tesla is now are biotech and real estate for some reason. So
real estate.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising.
That one caught me off guard. Yeah. Didn't see that coming.
And it's pharma is right there, real estate. And so you see, Tesla kind of getting this software company, social network kind of company valuation, when her argument is, and Devonshire's argument is, this is not a software company. This is not a network. This is, at the end of the day, they're building cars and delivering cars to people. And so that's one of those things. I don't necessarily buy into these types of research reports all the time, but I bring it up because of what you're saying, that there's so much, it goes to prove what you're saying. The numbers prove what you're saying, that there's so much hype and so much price to perfection in Tesla right now.
Absolutely.
That going into an event like this, if anything's off and that revenue number, then, that ratio shrinks to 5, you're going to lose 28% of the value of the company just like that on, just kind of a basic retrace of a revenue multiple. So that's kind of crazy stuff. So I like buying the puts too.
It's aggressive.
It's aggressive.
It's so aggressive. It requires such a huge move in your direction.
I'm not going to put all my profits from the long into that.
It's also capital intensive. I mean, you're buying these puts, you're locking up a lot more capital. It's requiring a move, 20 points in your favorite direction, right. 25 points in your favorite, before you even get to, theoretical break even on.
You're going to do that vertical,
break even based on expiration. I'm definitely doing the vertical.
You love that. I feel like that's too easy. Does that sound stupid? I mean, I really feel like you're going to make.
It doesn't sound stupid for me. If it's too easy for me to make money, I'm pretty smart, right?
For me to not do it because I feel like it's too easy and you're not making enough.
You could just do both.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll split half. Of
my
profits.
Or you could do a more aggressive, sell a more aggressive call spread, closer to the money and wider, to finance some of the puts that you want to purchase.
All right. Well, we've given people plenty of options. The bottom line is we think we nailed Tesla 6 weeks ago but now the data has shifted. The LikeFolio data on what consumers are talking about has shifted going into a big event. The stock has rallied to crazy highs, and we're ready to take advantage of that as well.
Yeah, we should brush on one quick principle for the listeners. That might be like one listener or a few listeners thinking that you guys, you committed to a bullish Tesla a month ago. How can how dare you change your position and your direction? Well, the part of trading is never fully committing to a specific directional bias. If you have a directional bias, it's proven correct, you profit off of it, and you see a reason to shift your directional bias, by all means, shift.
Right. And plus the stock has gone up so much and now the data has gone down so much, they're just completely moving away from each other. So you got to be able to reevaluate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I will say, looking
believe
at
me, it brings me no pleasure to come in here and talk negatively
100%.
About Tesla.
I agree 100%.
I mean,
we're only talking negatively about it because of where the stock is at. If the stock was at 175, we'd be like, this might be oversold. It's all relative.
yeah,
I think that's key.
That's true.
31 billion market cap now. So that coupled with the data, I think, is painting a pretty bullish or bearish picture.
The last time the 30-day moving average for these data points was this low, the stock was around 190 or 180. So, I mean, it's forward looking. So who knows? It could take a month or two to get in there. But I think by earnings, we're going to see that move. So
yeah, I think we're going to see that. My call is the day before when we're getting ready to go to the Kentucky Derby, we're going to see Tesla at about 190. That's my call.
I like it.
Could happen.
All right, we got Nike earnings real quick. I want to get this published before the market closes. So we got Nike earnings tonight. What are we seeing there?
Yeah, so Nick and I talked about this one, a couple weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking we want to revisit before earnings. We've got about just a little bit of time before earnings comes out. So the data has it's spiked in this last quarter more than normal. It's the purchase intent and brand mentions have been doing well. It has since fallen off back towards the sort of the 1 year moving average, but the 1 year moving average is going up, and that spike in data has happened in the last quarter. So it's going to be reflected in the next earnings report. So I'm going to be bullish, but not super bullish on Nike, but I am bullish enough to be comfortable taking a position into earnings.
Cool.
So I was looking at, I need your help on this, Nick. What kind of option spread can I get into? I'd like to do a bullish spread going into earnings.
So the stock is currently $65. The earnings is reporting after the close today. The expected move is approximately 5% of the price of the stock. So the options market is expecting a 5% move to the upside or a 5% move to the downside. So you have a 10% total expected move cushion, basically. In your case, the stock has moved up 8.5% since we made the bullish case.
I know. And we said we wanted to wait.
Yep. So you were right on. And so currently with the stock at $65, I think an around the money spread would fit the bill for you. That would be the 63, buying the 63 calls, and I would just do the March that expire this Friday. So the MAR 4 expires the 4th Friday of March. So you would buy the 63 calls and sell the 67 calls. So that gets you right around the money. Both those strikes are wrapped around the money. It's 4 points wide. You got the 63 and the 67, so it's 4 points wide.
I like that because it doesn't require Nike to break through the recent top that it made a few months ago. Correct.
And the cost of the spread is about $2.10 debit, so you'd be paying $210 roughly.
Wow. It's pretty much a coin flip
it's
as far
coin
as
flip.
Yeah, just okay.
It's a coin
make
flip
190 or lose 210.
Cool.
Exactly. It's a coin flip and you're using your data as your edge.
Absolutely.
Cool. I like that. And by the way, Nike is now moved up to number 7 on the LikeFolio 50 in the LikeFolio app, which is a pretty big move.
It's been uptrending very solidly for the 4 years.
It's a big move, so people need to get the LikeFolio app to see those things. Search LikeFolio in the App Store. Make sure that you're subscribing to the podcast. You guys remind me, too, we got a little bit of we're patting ourselves on the back today, and rightfully so, for Tesla, and especially Tesla and Nike a little bit. But we've got a little bit of a story to tell on Apple. We got beat on that bearish vertical spread.
Yes, we did.
We got beat on that in a big way. I mean, it was a max loss. I think we sold the 97.50 and against 100, and now the stock's at 107. So it blew right through that, which is why a good reason why we did risk-defined trade like that. But anyway, next show we need to get into that because I wonder if the LikeFolio data is still showing any bearishness for Apple. We need to check in on that and see if there's another trade we can do this month on that. But overall, this is great stuff. We got Nike after the bell. We got Tesla in our back pocket. We got a bunch of coins in our pocket. And we're going to throw a few back in the pool on Tesla, and pumped about that. So
what are you guys going to do in Tesla?
I'm going to go half and half. I'm going to go half the puts and half the vertical.
Okay.
I think
that way I have no regrets.
I'm going to put some coin into the vertical.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Good show. Catch y'all later.